Hey, hey, I'm Ayuma Michelle, and welcome to part 4 of the Let's Stay Home with Ayuma Michelle Clarity Coaching series. How are you guys enjoying the series so far? Please comment below and share with me what resonates the most about the journey so far and the topics that we've covered so far, right? And also, YouTube tells me that most of the people who watch this channel haven't yet subscribed. So please subscribe so that we can journey together. Let's commit so that we can journey together, right? Yeah, so it's been such an incredible journey so far, and I just cannot wait to see what becomes of your life and of your journey. Already I've received lots of beautiful comments from people in other networks as well, and also on YouTube comments, just sharing the ways in which their lives are already transforming just by giving themselves permission to actually just think about these critical issues. And ladies, just remember, I hope and pray that there will never be another COVID situation. But if you desire to treat this interruption as an actual opportunity to rethink and to re-strategize and to pivot your life, trust you me, you can never ever go wrong by investing in yourself, right? So today's topic, what we're going to cover today, as promised in the last video, we are going to cover your core values. How to actually identify your core values, right? And so, as usual, story time. So there's a guy called Ezekiel Azonwu who runs a beautiful YouTube channel with his wife. And I guess they're all about dating with purpose, especially from a Christian perspective. And so he shared an analogy which I would like to share with you because I found it to be so profound, and this will create the baseline, of actually the topic we are covering today. So he talked about how there could be two boxers on a boxing ring, right? These two people are champions, For you to be in a ring boxing in the first place, you must truly have shown that you have the capacity to box, the knowledge and all that, right? But a boxing game cannot be a boxing game if there aren't two players, if there isn't a game, which sets the tone, and then if there isn't a referee. So a beautiful thing that he actually shared is that the referee is the one who determines how well the game is played, right? You have two amazing champions, right, on a boxing ring. So the number one, the game is the boxing. The game is boxing. Number two, you have two champions battling against each other. One will be the winner, one will be defeated, right? But of course, we know champions are the ones who never quit, right? And then there is the referee who determines how well the game is played. So when I broke this down, sometimes I really like getting deep into stuff and just breaking it down. So I'd like to break it down to you. The players are both great, but their greatness is determined by how well they play the game. And who does that and who determines that? It's the referee. So in this context, know that the referee represents your core values, how well you play the game. The players represent you and your opportunity. Have you ever found yourself fighting for an opportunity that's not even yours? That's not even aligned. So that is you and the opportunity. And then the game is life, right? So that boxing ring, it determines that the game is life. But the referee, the values, are the ones that determine how well you play the game of life. Right? Of course, we know it's not a game, but in this context, let's just take it as it is, right? So I just found that to be so profound. And as a coach, I'm always trying to see strategies in how well people do. And of course, you guys had shared before in the 10 Things About Me video that I have a very athletic background. So sometimes when I'm trying to actually figure out things and make sense of things, I tend to go back into how athletes actually play out, because athletes literally represent discipline. And the reason why people buy into athletes, you're buying into their discipline. Do you buy Jordans? Those of you who buy Jordans, do you buy Jordans just because they're nice shoes, or do you buy it because of the discipline and the legacy that Michael Jordan built, right? So that goes back into it. And I covered this in another branding workshop that I did. You can check out LetS on Facebook, and I'll be providing a video soon. So let's get back to this story. The referee is your values. The players are you and the opportunity that you pursue. And the game is life. So the question I'd like to ask you is, what has actually been the most important, what has been most important for you in your life? What has been most important to you in your life so far? Even in this season, just ask yourself, what is the most important thing in your life? Just think about your present and your past, because only then will you truly assess what is currently your value system, right? And we will work on this, in the course of this video. But the most important thing that I want you to do is acknowledge where your energy has been going. In the previous video, we talked about passion and what has been expanding your energy, right? So just ask yourself, what has really been getting a lot of your attention? And if you feel that there's a misalignment, don't worry, we will actually sort that out. And I have an amazing strategy and an amazing tool which you can actually use to determine what needs to matter. There's a big difference between what is currently, what are currently your value system and what has been taking up your energy, and what needs to. So at the end of this video, we will handle what needs to, right? So that you can be aligned with your purpose and your actual passions. So one important thing that I'd like you to know with regards to evaluating your values, right? When it comes to passions, I told you, ladies, that it is about creativity and service, right? And putting yourself out there through creativity and service. But with values, emotions play a very, very big role. And if by any chance you're a guy and you're watching this, just know emotional intelligence is one of the biggest things you will need to invest in. But since this channel is especially dedicated to progressive women globally, helping you to thrive with purpose, emotional intelligence is something that we already hold naturally. And the world has trained us to think and believe, tricked us to believe that it is a weakness. But guess what? The emotional brain is actually the decision-making brain. So the more and more you tap into your emotions, the better you will make decisions. The better you know how to manage your emotions and to how to read people's emotions and process them, the better you will actually be in leadership. And imagine such a time where there's this huge pandemic. Being an authoritative leader does not work anymore, right? It's actually leading through. Adaptive leadership includes emotional intelligence, and those are the leaders who've actually been thriving. And it's no coincidence that the presidents and the premiers of nations during this time who are actually managing this pandemic well are actually women. Emotional intelligence is your strategy. So now that we've figured out that emotions play a big role, the reason why, it's because the emotions will point you to experience. When you're trying to figure out your core values, you will tap into your emotional experiences, because that will then inform you as to what actually is value to you and what is not. And so I'd like to ask you again, what energizes you? Think of emotion and experiences, emotional experiences. What really energizes you? What really triggers your emotions? For me, I shared with you the whole situation of the surge in domestic violence globally literally triggered an emotional experience from me. I literally woke up crying because I kept wondering, doesn't the world realize we'll need women after this? And I was like, why is it always women on the receiving end when things go south, or when things are in chaos? Why is it that people always find that women are the ones that, they should release and project all of their frustrations on? I honestly have a serious issue with that. And so for me, my emotional energy and my emotional experience actually went on this whole issue of the surge of domestic violence globally. I do not like it. And I don't like the fact that many people are being subjected to various types of violence. You know, domestic violence, it could be emotional, it could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be sexual, you know. So all manner of things that women are currently going through this, and it doesn't have to be an actual partner or marriage. Sometimes it's even family members. So be very careful of that. You know, there's a lot of these things that are happening. So I have very strong emotions toward this. So what has yours been? You know, because guess what? Your values inform your decisions, which then inform your direction of life. Just take that in. Your values inform your decisions, which then inform your direction in life. You are not where you are right now just by coincidence. There's nothing like coincidences in this life. You are where you are because of a direction of life that came from decisions that you made that were informed by values that you held, right? So just think back where you are right now. Just just connect the dots by looking backwards. Ask yourself, what direction have I taken in life, good or bad? Because guess what? This is an opportunity to actually rethink your life and to redirect your life. What direction in life have you taken? Or what direction has your life taken? And what decisions informed this direction? And what values directed these decisions? It will now make clear sense where you are right now. You know? So for me, my passion of women empowerment is driven by, you know, the emotion of I know what it is like. I know what it is like to actually be denied opportunities just because you have an extra X chromosome and not a Y chromosome. You know, it's not that you do not have the experience, it's not that you do not have the passion for it, not that you don't have the capacity, but just because you're a woman. And that to me is a matter of urgency. And so the reason why I obviously decided to take the direction of serving women is because I was the decision that informed it is give what you needed. I honestly believe that give what you need and be part of the solution. And this is based out of the value of opportunity, but also the value of service. The value of service literally drives a lot in what I do in my life and what I actually do at LetS. To a point where if somebody reaches out to me with an opportunity and does not mention the word service, I might actually not pick it up. But when somebody mentions this is in service, even if it's pro bono, and somebody says this is in service of somebody or women or whatever, I will actually pick it up because they're speaking my language. They're speaking my emotional language, right? Because to me, it's personal to me that I serve women. And that I keep their dreams alive. And obviously the value is opportunity. So you see that my actual direction in life was serving women through LetS, right? Like literally that's how the trajectory of my profession is, which is why of late I've really been saying no to opportunities which serve other demographics, because there's a lot of work, you guys, that needs to be done with regards to women. So the more and more I stay true to my values, the more and more I actually become really, really productive with my purpose. And the more and more I honor my purpose, and the more and more, and in response, my purpose reveals itself to me more and more. You get what I mean? But if I was out there serving every single person, I wouldn't be able to honor my purpose, you know, and my passions and my values, right? So I'd like to ask you a question. Which people really inspire you? Which people really inspire you and why? Just think about that, you know? Because the answer to this is another way of also discovering your core values. Out of all the people in the world who could possibly inspire you, there's a particular group of people, and they're normally very few, Don't focus on the many. Focus on the ones who, my goodness, right now you've been listening to during this season, who when they speak, you feel as though they are speaking life to you. And it's because they are speaking life to your values, life to your passions, and life to your purpose, right? So who are these people? And why? Once you figure out who these people are and why, you will then know, this is another way, you will then know that the answers point you to your core values. And that's the beautiful thing about being a human being. You don't have to figure things all out by yourself, but by being surrounded by the human community, you know, and other human beings, there's something in them that inspires you, right? Inspires you. It comes from within. There's something about them that speaks to something that exists within you, right? That's what inspiration is, right? And through that inspiration, you can then create. Something can then become, right? That's what the process of inspiration is. And also realize that we are constantly living in duality. This is the other thing I'd like you to consider. If now that you know we are constantly living in duality, and I've covered this in a previous episode, the one that deals with purpose. Now that you realize that we're living in duality, the you that you are now or that you have been, and the you that you know you should be because of your purpose. Your purpose tells you who you need to be. But who you need to be hasn't yet become, right? That is the future you. But now there's the you that you currently are. What needs to change? What values do you need to start upholding? What do you need to start taking seriously and exercising that muscle so that you can become the authentic you that actually then fulfills your purpose on earth? Realize this, no one can beat you at your own game. But also you have this one delicate life. And the more you honor your values, the more you honor your purpose, the more you stay true to who you truly are, only then will you make this life a delicious one and a purposeful one. Because remember, influential people aren't necessarily people that you like. But when they pass on and when they live this life, you remember them by their work. I ask you to be an influential person, not just famous or popular. That's not what we are here on earth for. We are here to build influence. And that influence is to actually achieve a specific purpose, right? So just remember that. You're constantly living in duality. The you are now needs to build capacity, needs to become more authentic and true to certain values that the future you is going to be in that realm of living in true purpose. Which then leads me to this week's activity, right? Number 1, what values? Ask yourself, and these are things that you really need to write down. Ask yourself, what do your values need to be in order to achieve your purpose in life? Right? And realize your purpose reveals itself to you in phases because you need to build your capacity in phases, right? So right in this phase that you're in, what is your purpose telling you need to start valuing as soon as possible, right? What is that? What needs to be your top core values based off of your purpose, what your purpose has revealed to you so far? Number 2, who are the people? Who are the people that truly inspire you? And once you notice these people, start modeling them. There's something about them. Just focus on the thing that inspires you the most about them. Start modeling them and how they carry out these values. The reason why these people inspire you is because they are speaking life to a value, a core value within you. And I'm not just talking about somebody who inspires you just because they speak nice things. Go deep. Does this person inspire you because of their success? Does this person inspire you because of how authentic they are? Does this person inspire you because of how they speak up? Does this person inspire you because of maybe how their family unit is? Does this person inspire you because of how they lead their team? Realize those are values I've actually mentioned. Family, leadership, all of that. Those are actual values. So find out what specifically inspires you about this person. And please don't project what other people are thinking. Just because, let's say, somebody loves Oprah's success. For you, it may be because she's authentic. Or maybe for you, it's because she was able to transform her life. Or maybe it has something to do with health and well-being. The fact that she was able to transform her health journey. Be specific to what inspires you about this person, not other people. Get rid of the fluff. And so, the third one, which is really, really exciting, is your personal hierarchy of values. Please pay attention to this one. And I'd like you to focus on 7. I know you will start thinking, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? We kind of get to that realm sometimes when we are told to make a choice within a specific frame. Sometimes we become like kids in a candy store where you're like, no, but I have 100 values. I have this. No, out of those 100, you will only pick 7. 7. And yes, the world will not end if you pick 7. Just start with 7, okay? I've done this exercise with a couple of people, and sometimes they're like, no, but I have 10, but what about 20? I know, you can have 20, but out of those 20, there are 7 that take the top layer. Focus on the top layer, right? And I think prioritizing is one thing that we really need to master. You can't serve 20 values at the same time. That one will be stretching yourself. Focus on the most important ones, and then bring them into your life, incorporate them into your life, and that's when you'll start to see the results. These values, by sticking to your most important values, core values, it will then speak life to the other values in your life. Trust me. Please trust me with this, right? So what I want you to do with this hierarchy of values is 1, ask yourself, what has to be the most important? Most important, meaning which is number 1? Out of the 7, which is number 1? The reason why I ask you that, the reason why I am advising you to start with the most important is because you will base the rest out of this one. For me, my number 1 top priority value is always my faith. My faith is number 1 because it literally, and remember, what has to be the most important? We are discussing purpose. Faith for me is number 1. Because it literally determines how I actually go about the rest of my life, right? And what needs to be important. So figure out what has to be number 1, right? And be very honest. Be very honest with yourself and be very honest with what your purpose is already revealing to you. There's something, speaking of Oprah, there's something that Oprah shared, that there's nothing as heartbreaking as breaking promises towards your own self, not honoring your own promises. When you don't honor other people's promises, you will not feel the heat. But when you break your own promises, when you do not honor your own promises, it will bite. I tell you, it will bite. And that's why I'm asking you to be as honest as possible with yourself as we go on this journey, and with your values. Please be honest with yourself. Be true to your purpose. If your purpose is telling you to value something, please take it up. It's not what your current self values now, but it is what your future self needs to become successful with her purpose. Please honor your future self. Honor her right now by willing to change your life. Don't honor what needs to change right now. That is an attachment, but commit to who you need to become so that you can fulfill your purpose. So start with number 1. What is your most important? What needs to be your most important core value for you to actually honor your purpose and fulfill it successfully? And then number 2, how you go about the other 6 under the most important one is by asking yourself, what has to be more important? So number 1 is most important. Number 1, like deal breaker, do not even touch it. Then the other 6, how you organize it is that if you have a value on number 2 and another one on number 3, ask yourself, between number 2 and number 3, what has to be most important? between number 3 and number 4, what has to be most important? And you'll notice there'll be a shifting going on here, like, the traditional telephone operator connecting the wires and stuff. But guess what? It'll reach a point when you'll see these values and it will make sense. It will all make sense, that organization, right? So just ask yourself for the other 6, what has to be more important, right? So I hope that this now makes sense, and I hope that you're now realizing how simple it is. Are you ladies realizing how simple these exercises are? But the reason why most of the time people go through life thinking things like purpose and values and passions are so difficult to figure out, it is because other things are taking up space in your life. Other things are taking up priority in your life, right? Busyness makes you feel like you don't have time to sit down and figure out your values, even as they evolve, right? And then other things like business and work and career and having to make money and pay the bills, those things take center stage in your life, making you feel like you don't have time, that you can't give yourself permission to figure these things out so that you can move forward, as a more intentional woman, right? And especially with your purpose. But guess what? We are beyond that. We are thinking abundantly even in this season. And I challenge you to still see this season as a season of abundance and as a season of actually pivoting. Remember, pivot to a better version of you, because your best life is awaiting you. Believe it, because I believe it for you. This is why I wake up, dress up, and show up, to ensure that I speak life to you, to ensure that we live a completely transformed life after this. And guess what? It's going to be our best life, right? So please comment below. What are you going to try out this week? All right? What are you going to try out this week? Are you going to try out the value hierarchy? Or are you going to model someone? Are you going to model someone who inspires you? Just comment below and let me know which activity you're going to try out, right? Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. Remember, most of you guys who are watching this channel are not yet subscribed. Please subscribe. If you found value in this video, subscribe, right? So that we can keep journeying together. This is Let's Stay Home with Ayuma. This has been part 4, and I cannot wait to share with you more of this sweet journey in the next video. I will see you. And remember, this channel is all about empowering women globally to thrive with purpose. That's why I started Let's with Ayuma. Don't give up on you. Keep fighting for your purpose, and don't give up on your dreams. I believe in you. But do you? Okay? Bye-bye. I'll see you in the next video.